I got off the plane July 2nd, 1994, in late afternoon into LA, walked across the road, the cop said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going for a walk." He said, "No, you're not. Go back inside right now." "Do you have any ID?" "No, go back inside right now." So I just turned back and went back inside. That was the very first interaction that I had on the street with anybody in the United States. Oh yeah, yeah, it was a crazy culture shock.
Why did you come to America?
Because I wanted to skateboard. I came here because I wanted to skateboard. Simple as that. Like I grew up playing soccer and cricket, but then when I started skateboarding, that's all I wanted to do. And you know, to have the dream of riding on smooth concrete, red painted curbs, that's all I wanted to do. And I wanted to go and see the stuff. So I wanted to see, okay, what does it look like? I've seen it in the videos, I've seen it in the magazines. What does it look like to me? And when I came and skated here, you know, once I got in the groove of living in a foreign country when I was 18, I enjoyed it because I enjoyed to skate a lot.
Geoff from Liverpool is probably the smartest of the team. He saved up all his money and bought a 1970 Karma gear. It's his pride and joy.
The flip guys came to Huntington Beach, so it was kind of a thing because it's like, this was my town, I lived here. And a whole, basically, skateboard team moved to Huntington Beach. I was like skating with Tom a little bit, and Geoff was more reclusive. I mean, watching Tom was just insane. He was like the check your brain at the door style, like how Muska used to be, you know? It's almost like he skated better if he was stoned. And Ian kind of introduced us almost like, hey, you should go hang out with Geoff. He's a really cool dude. And it was almost kind of awkward, like almost like he set up a date, like go over and hang out with Geoff at the flip house, you know? So I like showed up there like, hey, what's up? You want to go skating and stuff? So, and it kind of, he was right. Like we kind of started hanging out a lot.
Lately, me and Geoff have been into punk rock. It's like stuff we heard when we were kids. Typical day in the life of Ed Templeton. Geoff gets 28 lines, Ed gets 1.
I owe a massive, a huge amount to Ed Templeton and his wife, because I was young at that time and I didn't know a lot of people, and I'd go hiking with Ed and stuff like that. Like he was into stuff that I was into. That really helped me kind of feel like, okay, like maybe I could be accepted or something.
It's funny, my understanding of this is that he grew up in a removed area from the skateboard scene and saw the videos and thought, this is how the pros skate. And so his standard of what was normal was super high. Because he came and basically got the cover of Transworld three flipping that, what is it, 15 or something down in San Diego. And I remember talking to him after that, and he was kind of like, he told me this, he's like, man, we watched the videos. Like I saw Chris Markovich and thought that that's how he skated every day. So that's what I wanted to, like, when I got good, that's like what was my standard, was like being that good every day.
I was able to skate more than I was ever used to. I had access to like perfect skate spots more than I'd ever had, and I was around professional skaters that I grew up idolizing, and Ed being one of those guys. Yeah, I think after about 2 years I started to feel a sense of, okay, I have goals now, you know? I have goals, and I have, you know, the confidence and a foundation of friends and support around me to start really getting back on track and skating a lot.
Do you remember when you first heard of Geoff Rowley?
Yeah, man, there was this dude, he was coming out of England, and it was just like, he was doing all these savage tricks, like hitting all these savage ledges and rails and stuff, and you could tell that he just like kind of was convicted in that sense, like where he was just gonna go all out on something. So it was easy to recognize that energy, you know?
The thing people gotta realize is like, Geoff really is a pioneer of a way to skate. You know, like if you look at it, there is people that pioneer. Like I remember being around, we'd skate Huntington Park all the time. Here's Chad Muska, and that whole thing was taken off, and you have TSA and this influence, and Chad's a guy that's gonna show up with his boombox, do his thing, and there's a scene. Then you have Jamie, and it's all the whole Welcome to Hell thing, and he's gonna have the last part, and Jamie's doing his thing. And then you have Geoff, and Geoff at that time was blowing up cover of magazines, doing all this stuff, and he was always that way. It wasn't to outdo people. It was like, you knew what he was doing, was pushing skating. It was always like that.
Seemed like he was always on a conquering mission, and you know, as far as like, you know, let's say Tom or whatever, he was kind of on a different flowy kind of mission. And I really respected Geoff for the fact that, you know, he hooked up with Stuart, and he kind of knew that, like, that's what he wanted to capture his ability with.
He wanted to do a certain thing, and so he would make an appointment with Daniel Sturt, and that meant it was on. Because if he was gonna like get Daniel up from San Diego to shoot this thing, and Jan was a gnarly dude, then he had to like, he was gonna do it.
It's like once the call to Sturt's done, it's like, all right, it's like, it's gonna be the gnarliest thing ever for that time period.
Geoff's spots were pretty gnarly. There was a point where Geoff would have photos on stuff that was like, dude, all you have to do is an ollie or something here. And it's like, that's like death-defying. You know, you could just tell it's like those two dudes, like, all right, we're getting up at 6 in the morning, we're gonna skate this thing or something like that. And it was just super gnarly.
We showed up at this apartment rail on Alabama Street in HB. And there was a barbecue that's rusted and it's chained to the bottom of the rail. There's 2 push run-up. And you got to move plants and shit to get at it, right? And before we even get out the car, he's like, here's the keys, Molly, here's my wallet. You know where the nearest hospital is, right? And I'm like, wow, really? We're gonna start off like that? He's like, oh, here's my VX, I'll put it on the tripod. Just press the red button. Sturt's there. He's shooting a sequence and filming it. So he's doing 2 things. I'm pressing the button.
You know, he's kind of in a league of his own, really, because, you know, not everybody knows exactly what they want to do. Some people just kind of tag along for the session, but Geoff knew every time, hey, I'm going to go here and I'm going to try this, and I'm going to eat shit or I'm going to make it. And then you'd go to the spot and he would either make it or eat shit.
That's the other thing about him too. He'd be like, well, got a good slam. It's good footage. A really good slam's good footage.
I definitely have to now and again take a good slam to be able to make the trick. There's a lot of truth to that. I don't really think about it, to tell you the truth. I do the best I can to put it out of my mind until I'm right there and present and in front of the situation. That way, my adrenaline doesn't start moving, because you only really get like 20 minutes of peak performance, if you want to call it, when your adrenaline starts kicking in. And when you are skating stuff where you could die, or if you fall off, break your neck, break your back, you're paralyzed, like the slams like that, you can't mess around with that. You've got to be in the right frame of mind or you don't approach it.
You all right, man?
No, I'm ending it. My hand's gonna fall off. I don't even want it, like, honestly. I don't want it. If it doesn't give you it, don't take it. Just fucking let it go.
Yeah, fucks with you.
You know what I mean? Some days you do it, some days you fucking get pissed. Some days your hands fucking almost fall off, like today. And then some days it works, and then some days you go to hospital, and then some days you go to hospital and then it still works. Some days it fucking